Good morning. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Olivia Zong.
And I'm Mariam Karabi. Here are some of the stories we're following this morning from On the Record Newsroom. Let's start with a new provincial law targeting education, both secondary and post-secondary. We've talked about Bill 33 here on the show recently, but now it's a law. Let's find out more.
We're joined by Gabi Grande. Hi, Gabi. Thanks for coming in. What do we need to know now that Bill 33 has become law?
Thank you. Well, Olivia, the provisions of the new law do have repercussions for us, you and me, basically everyone in the post-secondary sector. Let's start with the government's new power to decide which auxiliary fees are essential. Olivia, remember a couple weeks back, our OTR colleague Nadjia Sene was here on the desk talking about what was then just Bill 33, wasn't yet written into law. She gave us a broad outline about this new discretionary power over student fees. Well, now she's working on a follow-up piece, and that's for the OTR website.
So what's going to be in Nadjia's story?
Well, she'll tell us that student associations across Ontario are warning that the law could undermine the stability of essential services. So we're talking campus food banks, mental health supports, peer programs, and even student media.
So who'd she talk to?
Nadjia interviewed Omar Musa, and he's an executive with the Ontario branch, Canadian Federations of Students. He said, and he was adamant, that education is a human right. He says the government continues to treat it as a business. And that's pretty much the general consensus from governments and campus groups alike.
So I know it's not just the post-secondary sector. What about high schools?
You're right. One section of the law requires elementary and secondary school boards to partner with their local police services. So this basically means police would have access to high schools, the buildings, and even the premises.
Thanks so much, Gabi, for coming in.
Thank you.
Now an update. What's going on with our student government here at TMU? The turbulent TMSU is trying to run an election. Voting was supposed to start yesterday, Monday, and go till tomorrow, Wednesday. But there was a glitch. TMSU says it was technical, and any votes that were cast yesterday weren't counted. So now voting is today. It started at 10 a.m. and will run until Thursday at 5 p.m. If you voted yesterday, you'll have to do it again. Our very own Nadjia Sene and Jenna Jetlin have been following this for us, and we'll have more information up on the site this week. Now let's have a look at the other stories we're working on today and this week in our On the Record newsroom. Standing by live in the newsroom is Sidra Al Jammal. Sidra, what have you got for us?
Thanks, Mariam. OTR's Fall 2025 masthead is churning out the last stories of the semester. Our very own Nadjia Sene is reporting on the launch of the Mount Dennis Early Learning and Childcare Centre, Toronto's largest childcare centre and first net zero building. Her story will be up on our website later this week. And in place of what was supposed to be the print edition on climate change in the GTA, our website will instead have a special section dedicated to the topic. As Emma mentioned a couple weeks ago, you can expect stories on housing, floods, food insecurity, food banks, wetlands, and extreme weather storms. And all through the semester, our fall newsroom has produced many fantastic stories. Later today, we'll find out who's taking home our beloved TKTK Raccoon Trophy for Best Story of the Semester, voted on by the OTR team. Masthead will be heading to the Queen and Beaver to commemorate the end of this stellar semester. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Sidra. Ontario drivers could be facing lifetime driving bans if convicted of dangerous driving causing death. On Tuesday, Transportation Minister Prabmeet Singh Sarkaria said the province was taking heed of what's known as Andrew's Law. That's a reference to Andrew Castillo. The father of 3 was killed in car crash in early August.
In less than a month, it will be 8 years since the murders of Barry and Honey Sherman. Now, we're learning that their daughter, Alexandra Krawcheck, has bought the vacant lot in North York where her parents' house once stood. A group of neighbors is concerned that the spot will now become a memorial park. But Krawcheck's spokesperson has told various outlets that the goal is to do something with the property that will be respectful of her parents' legacy.
And now to our regular weekly feature. That's entertainment. This week, we're joined by Aia Jaber. What you got for us, Aia?
Thanks, folks. The actor and musician Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, has revealed the reason he abandoned his world tour last year. at around the halfway point. At a concert on Saturday, he told fans he had suffered a stroke in the summer of 2024. Doctors at the time also told him he had 2 holes in his heart. Glover then underwent 2 surgeries, but he didn't say whether they fully resolved the problem. In fact, he joked that he was merely copying Jamie Foxx, who suffered a stroke in 2023. He told the crowd, "They say everybody has 2 lives, and the second life starts when you realize you have one." And in box office news, the sequel film Wicked for Good has had a strong opening in terms of revenue, way more than the first film in the franchise. The film starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo grossed $226 million US worldwide in its first few days. Fans, brace yourselves for Grande and Erivo's second round of press tours. Watch for those memes and a bunch of brand new pop culture references. The 2 stars are known for crying at every interview, with fans poking fun, because it looks like Erivo wants to be Grande's bodyguard. Some fans even wonder what might have been going on behind the scenes to have trauma bonded the 2 actresses. I, for one, do not want to know. Back to some more serious news. Here's an update on the fall of Miss Jamaica at the Miss Universe pageant in Thailand. Gabrielle Henry, aka Miss Jamaica, took a serious fall off stage last Wednesday. She's been in the ICU ever since. The social media videos of the fall broke the internet. This year's Miss Universe pageant is just a mess. From the resignation of a guy named Omar Hamouche, who was supposed to be a judge, to various contestants quitting the competition before it's even over. Hello Magazine says the Miss Universe organization has been forced to address unfounded speculation following Miss Jamaica's hospitalization, without letting us in the know about what it is. That's all for entertainment.
Thanks, Aya. Big news out of the Toronto Zoo, which just got 2 new tiny dinosaur roommates, and they finally have names. The city received 2 4-year-old Komodo dragon siblings earlier this month and turned to the public for naming inspiration. Rhea for the female, meaning great or greatness in Malay, and Komo for the male, short for Komodo. The 2 new residents are slowly settling in, and honestly, they might just be the city's hottest new duo.
Alrighty, it's a busy time this week in sports. And as we mentioned earlier, our reporter Nadjia Sene is no stranger to busy times. What you got for us, Nadjia?
That's right, it has not been a slow week in the world of sports. Here are the stories that are making headlines this week. There was a major upset over the weekend at the Olympic trials in curling, of all sports. The trials for both men's and women's teams started over the weekend in Halifax. The competition goes on throughout the week and into next weekend, but in the meantime, boy, was there high drama on Sunday. The rink of Kayla Skrlik out of Calgary defeated the Rachel Homan rink from Ottawa. The shock is that Homan hadn't lost a game in over a year, but they went down to the side, led by skip Kayla Skrlik in 8-7 in extra ends. Let's see how the rest of the tournament unfolds. In basketball news, the coach of the NBA's Portland Trail Blazers has been charged with money laundering and wire fraud. Chauncey Billups has pled not guilty. He's an NBA Hall of Famer. The charges can carry up to 20 years in prison. No trial date yet. Some more basketball news. The Toronto Raptors won last night's game against the Cleveland Guardians 110-99. The win extends the Raptors' winning streak to 8 and propels them to the second in the Eastern Conference. The Raptors' next game is tomorrow evening. They're at home to the Indiana Pacers. The game starts at 7:30. That's all for sports. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Nadjia. That's all for On the Record this November 25th. I'm Olivia Zong.
And I'm Mariam Karabi. And a massive thank you to everyone for tuning in to OTR this semester. We'll return in the new year with a new crew ready to give you the latest 24/7.
From everyone here at OTR, we wish you all the best with exams and hope you have a lovely winter break.